Chapter 18 is called Radical Discipleship. The first three Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, are called the Synoptic Gospels because they have a certain side-by-side parallelism. They chronicle step by step the life and teachings, the ministry, the crucifixion, and the resurrection of Jesus. There is even this book called the Gospel Parallels. It prints these Gospels side by side in columns, Matthew, Mark, Luke. Most scholars believe that these Gospels were actually written down some years after Jesus' death and resurrection. But tucked away in all three of the synoptics is what scholars call the Q source. That is, the teachings of Jesus. Mark's Gospel may have been written first, but Matthew has a full genealogy, the birth story, and so it comes first in the New Testament. Who was Matthew? The apostle? Well, the apostle was Levi, the tax collector, who was converted right in his tax office. He changed his name, you remember, and invited Jesus to dinner right along with his friends. Men were hated by the other Jews because they collected taxes for the Romans. I believe that Levi became Matthew was the most literate, the most educated of all the 12 apostles. After all, Peter, James, John were fishermen, surely uneducated workmen. And besides, as a tax collector for the Romans, Levi had to speak Greek and Aramaic. He had to read Latin. He had to keep financial records, make written reports. In all likelihood, Levi, turned Matthew, kept notes when Jesus told parables, like the parable of the prodigal son, and may have been the author of the Q source, the teachings of Jesus, which was the foundation for the three synoptic Gospels. Also, whereas Luke's Gospel was written by a Greek, a Gentile convert, and a doctor, Matthew was written by a Jew, a Jewish convert, and it was aimed clearly at Jewish readers. Notice the careful genealogy going back to Abraham, and it's in 14-person sections. Notice after the birth narrative, the gospel is arranged in 5 sections, symbolizing the 5 books of Torah, the Pentateuch. See, all this is Jewish symbolism, like the Pentateuch in the book of Moses, which begins the Old Testament. Matthew's gospel wanted to reach Jews for Jesus. But because it's such a complete and powerful report of Jesus' life and ministry, it's helped millions of people, Jew and Gentile, find the Lord.